I call Andrew Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's been a perverse couple of days, I've got to say. We announced a policy of providing $790 million to the families in needs, and it's a great thing to do for New Zealand families, and yet we've got an opposition saying, no, we do not want to support that. Then we've got an opposition who say, we shouldn't be removing this $1,000 subsidy for the KiwiSaver. They want to support other people. And then, at the same time, we've got an opposition saying we need to be in surplus. And the reality is, I just can't see how the opposition can make those numbers work. What we're doing is actually focusing on the people that really need it. And that's why we're putting $790 million into a scheme that's going to support the people that normally the opposition want to support. We are the ones who want to care for them. We are the ones who want to respect for them. And it's not only about a financial package, it goes with all the other things that we're doing. The free under 13 visits for children. It's also about providing better housing for those families in needs. It's about getting better outcomes for those families or the children from those families in needs. That's why this government is so focused on it. And I just cannot understand why this opposition wants to stop all these good measures that support these families in needs. It's disappointing. It's actually illogical. But I just actually want to now turn to the KiwiSaver issue itself. As our colleague before just spoke of, the original target was to get 700,000 people into KiwiSaver. Luckily, and with good management and with setting the right parameters, we've got 2.5 million people in this KiwiSaver scheme. 2.5 million people. 2.5 New Zealanders who have invested in it. And that is a fantastic thing, and I think we should be celebrating that. But where people do not understand is that there is still very strong incentives to continue to invest in KiwiSaver, to want to join that scheme. And I point to the $521 per annum that will be automatically paid by this government into everyone's KiwiSaver account when they turn 18 or when they get a job. $521 per annum every year until they retire. And the second thing, there is now another strong incentive why people want to join the scheme, and that is because we've introduced this package of housing measures, the Home Loan Star packages, which means people should invest in KiwiSaver because they can access more money to get the first deposit to buy their first home. And that's why there are still incredibly strong incentives to be involved in this KiwiSaver scheme. But I just now want to turn to some advice we received from the other side. And I heard these strange figures that if you invested $1,000, and I presume when you're born, that through the compounding interest, I think the figure was that you would get to $140,000. Now, I just sat down before and just did a couple of little calculations. And I am just struggling to make it work. So let's assume that we're getting, on average, from year 0 to 65 years old, let's say we're averaging 5% per annum return. And I realise because of the wonderful management of the New Zealand Super Fund, we're achieving 10%. But I used the figure long-term run average of 5%. Actually, if you use discount rates and things, you normally work about 6%. But anyway, 5%. Do you know what the figure is? Do you know what the figure is? It's certainly not 140,000. If you invested the 1,000 at year 1, it would actually be worth about 23,600 over 65 years. Now, that is just a far cry from what I heard over the other side. And look, the reality is, what we're doing with that $1,000 is we're diverting it to the people that we believe that need it most. And I just cannot understand why anyone in this House would want to sit there and shout out and decry what this government is doing. This is about a government that cares about families, that has done concrete things to make it achieve those things that will improve the lifestyle of these people, create jobs, give them the dignity and the respect that they deserve, and I commend this bill.
Members, the question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party vote called for. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
32 votes opposed.
Green Party.
13 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
12 votes opposed.
Maori Party.
2 votes in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 63, the noes are 57. The motion is agreed to.
KiwiSaver Budget Measures Bill, second reading.
The KiwiSaver Budget Measures Bill is set down for committee stage forthwith. I declare the House in committee for consideration of the KiwiSaver Budget Measures Bill. Mr Chair.
Mr. Speaker.
I'll start it as
Members, the Housing Committee on the KiwiSaver Budget Measures Bill. This is a clause-by-clause debate, and the question is that Clause 1 stand part.
Mr. Chair.
I call Dr. David Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am very glad to speak.